Hey everybody, got a quick one for you guys today. So I understand you're all home and you got Disney Plus, and you've probably seen this movie Moana, and she does a rope trick. Now you know that's right up my alley, so I wanted to show you what that was, what that rope trick is. So what you do is you take your rope. Now this end of the rope here that goes to the rest of your line, that's called your standing end. And then the pointed part is called your working end. Just a little bit of rope anatomy for you if you're new to this channel. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your standing end, just give it a twist like that. And then you're gonna take this working end and you're gonna throw it over and around. Now make sure that there's no kids or animals in the way, or you're giving them a good whipping. So you whip it around like that, and then you're simply just gonna take this end and pass it through here. And then the important part is that you take this standing end and you pull that down instead of pulling this up. Otherwise, you're gonna eat up all your tail. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna make a knot. Now, what knot is this? Let me give you a closer look. What this knot looks like. So this knot is actually called, some people call it a bowline, like a tugboat bowline, but it's not a bowline at all. What it actually is called is a perfect knot. So that's the whole thing. That's what they're doing. That's what they're making essentially. And the whole point of it is to be tied extremely quickly in case someone falls overboard and you throw them a lifeline real quick. You're supposed to whip it around real fast and just pull it super fast and then throw them a line. Okay, so I would argue that you could probably tie a number of knots for that same purpose more reliably than that, because sometimes if you whip it around, you might whip around too short, you might miss it, and then you might not get the knot right. This end might fly through or whatnot. I'll give you guys a closer look at this, how to tie it, so you don't have to just replay this episode 1,000 times. I'll put it down on the table like I usually do, and I'll show you how to tie it slowly. But just for argument's sake, you could probably tie a regular bowline just as quickly. You just give yourself a loop like that, reach down, grab the standing end, pull it through here. You can pass this right through there, that loop you just made. Grab your standing end and just kind of clean this up, and bam, that's a really fast way just to tie a bowline. You could also, with my eyes closed, I could reach down. Let me get this untangled. With my eyes closed, I could pretty much reach down, grab a bite of rope, and just go like that, and bam, figure eight. You know? And that's much more reliable than any of these knots. You could tie that, what was that, like a second or two? You could tie a figure eight to throw to somebody so fast. Bam. Right through there. Figure eight. So I think I would end up tying somebody a figure eight and throwing them. But that's a pretty neat trick to know what kind of knot they were tying. So let's bring it over to the table, and I'll show you the knot really in slow motion, close up, and let's get a better look at that. All right, let's get a closer look at this so you don't have to pause the video and replay it 100 times. If you like these videos, leave a like and a comment. I make a video every week, and I've been doing this for about a year, so I mean, I got a ton of stuff for you guys to enjoy. So basically what's happening is you're taking this rope with your standing end here, and this is your pointy end, your working end, and you're just giving it a twist at first. Then you're taking your working end, you're throwing it over, and you're essentially just whipping it around this loop you just made. So it's whipping it around like that, and it's coming right back around. Okay, so step one is the twist, step two is the whip, then you have this loop here, down here, okay? And you're just basically sandwiching your working end. You're sandwiching it like this, and you're passing it through here. And then the important part is you're tugging down with this. If you tug up with this, you're gonna end up pulling on your working end. So you pull down the standing end, and then you end up with this here. And that is what's called a perfect loop. I think it's also called angler's line. It's a fishing knot, really. So that is what Moana is essentially making. Now, what I did before, if you didn't catch it with the bowline, is I was just taking a loop here and giving it a twist like this. I'm sorry. I was giving it a twist like this, and then I'm grabbing the standing end like that. So I'm just twisting it around my wrist, grabbing the standing end, and then I'm pulling it through here as best as I can. Yeah. All right, pulling it through there. Okay, now I have this standing end loop. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna take our working end and we're gonna pass it through this loop. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow this loop to grab our rope. Okay, it's gonna grab it. This might look a little complicated, but it's you're gonna figure it out pretty quickly, all right? So it's grabbing it, see, it's about to bite it, and it's pulling it in. And then if you take your hand, you kind of just allow that to happen. It pulls it in, and then bam, a bowline. So that's a really quick way to do a bowline if you want to do a bowline. Like I said, you could pretty much just do a figure eight. And also with a figure eight, you'd be able to manage how much you want. If the person was really heavy set, you can make a big old loop and just whip it around and just pass it right through, you know, and then chuck it out there. So that's about it. Well, that about wraps it all up for this weekend. Get it? Wraps it all up. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. If you have any tips, leave it down in the comments. And I know some of you are going to ask, no, my wife has not popped yet. But any day, maybe tonight, he's a little bit late. So see you next week's episode. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next week. Josh Perry climbing out of here. Later, guys.